I'm on the way to go hiking in some mountains in the South Island of New Zealand at the moment with my brother-in-law and with my nephew. And on the way down we've stopped in Christchurch City and basically just doing some sightseeing. We've gone up to a lookout and had a look over the city, and we've even been out to the beach and generally had a look around. Just most recently I've just been spending some time in the Botanic Gardens, which are really quite nice. Christchurch is known as the Garden City, and it has a really nice river that runs through the middle of it, and yeah, really nice plantings and trees right through the city really. So that's been really nice. But in case you didn't know, Christchurch has been through some really tough times lately. Or in recent years. One of the big things, really big things, is there was a major earthquake here about 10 years ago. And so it's interesting going around the city. There's this contrast between there's some shiny new buildings and shiny new shopping areas and things like that, and then spotted amongst all of these new things are these old buildings that well, some haven't been demolished yet, but I guess due to be at some point, and they're graffitied and run down, and even just some sites where buildings have been demolished and there's just nothing there. And so there's the new mixed in with the remnants of the old, decayed or destroyed. So it's an interesting dynamic, walking around the city. And as we've been walking around and looking at different places, there's one place that we visited that I thought would be quite interesting to talk about, because it's an interesting place and quite a positive message, I think, comes from this place, and with some real parallels to what's going on in the world right now, and and how people are coping with that. And so that place is the Cardboard Cathedral. Christchurch is famous for, well, it's called Christchurch, so for churches and things like that, and in particular there was a grand old cathedral in the centre of town which has, well, it was badly damaged by the earthquake, and for the last 10 years they've still been figuring out what to do with it really, figuring out how they can reconstruct or rebuild or strengthen what's left of it, and they're still in that process. But 10 years is a long time, right? And this was really probably the strongest iconic place of Christchurch City, and as well as that, really important for those people. A lot of people consider it as a landmark, but there were people using that as a church, so really quite important for them as well. And so when we went and visited the Cardboard Cathedral, this is a building that they put up quite quickly after the earthquake. And when we were there, we had a little bit of a tour with someone who's a member of the congregation that was using the old cathedral and now is using this new, they're calling it a transitional cathedral. And some of the things I think that were pretty cool about it, one, its architecture is quite unusual, right? They used cardboard, big cardboard tubes, as some of the main structural elements within this building. Now, it's also got other structural elements. It's got timber and steel and things as well, but they used this cardboard as a feature, and then also shipping containers, and it's quite unusual, and these simple materials that they've put together in a way that they could construct this quite large building in a relatively short space of time to act as, definitely as a place of worship for those people who, that's the congregation. They needed somewhere for their place of worship, but also as, I think in many ways, a symbol of hope for the whole city. A symbol that even though they were going through really tough times, they could carry on. And there's that symbolism in the materials that they used as well, because the big cardboard tubes are produced in Christchurch. There was a factory that's been doing this for a long time, and it's used in different structural work and things like this, and it was still operating after the earthquake. And of course the port was still operating after the earthquake, and so they chose to use these materials, shipping containers and cardboard, or these big cardboard tubes, because these were things that they still had. And so they quickly used what they had to carry on and do what they could and create a place that was a place of comfort, a place of hope, a place of inspiration for the people of, in their own congregation and for the larger city as a whole. And as I mentioned, I found the whole story and the visit quite inspiring. Sometimes going and visiting churches can be inspiring, and other times it can be, it can be a bit of a drag at times as well. But this was really nice. The place had a very positive atmosphere, that atmosphere of hope and of just moving forward, of perseverance. And again, as I mentioned, I think there's some parallels to things going on in the world right now. Lots of us in different parts of the world are facing challenges with the current world situation, and maybe it has destroyed some things in our lives. Maybe it has stopped us from doing many of the things that maybe we've wanted to do. But we can do what we can with what we have right now, and I think that's what a lot of people are doing. They're making the most of it, even though things may not be ideal, things may be restricted in some way, maybe they're not able to do things the way they'd like to, they're doing what they can. And I think beautiful things can come out of that. And yeah, my visit to the transitional cathedral, or the Cardboard Cathedral, I thought it had a beautiful little message of hope and inspiration and perseverance there. So anyway, that's my little vlog for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I am, as I mentioned, going hiking over the next few days, and so I expect I'll be making a few more vlogs as I do that. It's one of those things, going different places and doing different things often brings out different ideas, and that gives me different things to talk about. It's a positive thing in so many ways, and I know, well, for myself, my travels have been greatly restricted, and for so many people they're really restricted right now. So in a way it's kind of weird to be doing this travel. It was kind of strange getting on a plane, but it also had this sense of normalcy to it, and just really nice to be able to do that. So I haven't gone out of the country, anything like that. This is just a local little trip, but really nice to be able to be doing this and getting some of that inspiration that comes from going somewhere different, seeing something different, doing something different. So yeah, I'm going to share some of those thoughts and inspiration that comes to me as I continue on with this trip and as I do some of that hiking. So yeah, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, all those good things, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.